Oh my god, that was the most amazing thing. Lapis confused with the villain.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think everybody's taken from this episode is that it was amazing that Lapis confused with the villain.
Well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, clearly there's nothing else in this episode that would get any attention whatsoever. So
what happened with Garnet? I missed that part.
Nothing. It's
It's
Steven, a filler episode.
Steven was running around with a couple of gems, and then next thing I know, Garnet's fighting somebody. So
yeah, I saw you.
I had to get some coffee.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's no biggie. I mean, really, nothing.
All right,
that
that's
can't,
cool. That's cool.
Just be
cool.
said in an online sum up.
I'll go wiki it.
Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first? Because I think we both have disappointing things to say.
Let's see, who wants to offend the fan base first? I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a good episode. Every single person on the planet's like, this is the episode you're talking about, right? This is
as
the
far
one?
as I know.
Okay, because you were talking to other people and you said it's this episode, right? And they said yes.
As far as I know, yeah. There's like other surprises and twists and stuff, but this is
I've
like
had
the big
so many people
episode.
like, there's one episode. Oh my god, when you see it, you'll shit yourself.
As far as I know,
Like,
I feel bad if it's not. But
Maybe there's something-
everyone that I've clarified.
How many more
with,
episodes do we have to go before we're caught up?
I think there's like 2 more seasons, so it could be. There's other ones, but
If this is the episode everybody's talking about, it's fine. It's fine. It's good.
but you don't think it's deserving like all the
I
as quote unquote the episode or
would
whatever.
have. I would have thought that there would be more, like with the amount of talk. Like what is it? It's Ruby and
Sapphire? Is that it?
yeah, Ruby and Sapphire. She was blue, so Sapphire. I got more out of Pearl and Rose and that whole thing, like when she was talking about Rose, than I did with this, because there wasn't anything except for they meet and yay, we're together again. Then they kiss and poof, and they kissed. That was nice. I don't know. There was all this like build up. I was really just like expecting, like, because I'm assuming that's what happens in this episode, that I'm supposed to be like, oh my god, right?
I mean, it's okay. I'll give my disappointing thing now. So
Okay, you start.
all right. So when
maybe I'm missing something. I don't know.
So when I did, when everybody was saying do Steven Universe vlogs, it's like, okay, no, it seemed interesting, whatever. And then out of nowhere, suddenly my Facebook explodes with everybody saying, you gotta do it, this episode happened, you gotta do it like right now, like 20 posts or something like that saying you gotta do Steven vlogs like right now. And so I'm at a convention, I'm like, okay, something big happened, obviously. And I go to this, I go to a convention, and like I say, conventions are sort of in the morning where I see, like, I just turn on Cartoon Network because that's the only thing on in the morning, like Saturday and Sunday morning. And Steven Universe is on. I'm like, oh, well, this is probably, this is the show everyone's telling me, so let me watch a little bit, just get a general idea. And I see The Return and Jailbreak back to back, and I just went,
Oh.
that's probably the episode everybody wanted me to see. So I go, and everyone comes up, and they're like, oh, it's really good. There's this one episode that's like really, really good. And I'm like, is it the episode where we find out about Garnet? And they go, yeah. And they all kind of looked out like, yeah, that's the one, And I'm like, it's actually the first episode I saw. So there went that whole big reveal. And what pisses me off is that I'm wondering, watching now, watching it from beginning through, and when we learned about fusions and stuff like that, I feel like a fucking moron that I didn't put together with the 3 eyes, especially one being a different color, that I didn't catch on that she was a fusion the whole time. Because that's how my mind would have thought. That's how my mind would have thought, like, oh wait, people confused, I wonder if somebody else is already a fusion.
No, when they grabbed and kissed, it was like, oh, they're lesbians. And it was like, poof, I'm like, oh, it's Garnet. Like, that was kind of my reaction. Like, I don't know if I was supposed to have some sort of...
I didn't even know what fusion was.
I found it more cool that it was Garnet I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's Garnet, but like the fact that they're two lovers joining, like, I guess for me, like the whole Pearl Rose thing kind of like gave that kind of thing away too early for me, because I'm like, I felt much more invested in that than I did this, but it's because I don't know Ruby. I don't know Sapphire.
Well, no, now here is the thing, though.
There's no real connection. We just literally met them for minutes.
I will say, in fairness, though, this
and
is
I'm not saying it's bad. As I said, it's a perfectly fine episode, and it's a perfectly cool plot point. But that's just it for me. I'm just like, oh, that's a really cool plot point. I'm not like, like, you know.
Well, this okay. A couple of things. One, with knowing them, I get kind of a Fury Road thing out of this, where just seeing the two of them, even for that couple of seconds, I felt like I got them, and I felt like I saw their relationship. I know why they got along. They were polar opposites. They balanced each other out. They sort of completed each other. They were definitely super in love with each other, even like the way they're animated when they, grab each other and stuff. I mean, you feel the chemistry.
Sure, but it's still minutes.
Correct.
Of character,
where Rose and
by the
Pearl's
time they were revealing
more.
things about Rose and Pearl, you felt like you knew a lot of what had been going on there.
Well, but this also ties into like the whole Korra and what's her name? I always forget her name. Asami, yeah, the whole
Korrasami.
Korrasami, yes, the whole Korrasami thing, where it's like, it's funny because with this, I feel it's done better here, because I feel much more the relationship, but
to
I
me
think
it has about the same impact of like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
and then I liked it in Korra just because it was like a giant kind of last middle finger to Nick.
That's my problem though, is that everyone sort of exploded. Oh, she's bi. She's here's this really big thing, and it's like, great. I didn't feel really tied that much into the importance of the story or anything like that. So where here, I felt like talking about fusion, talking about identity, talking about all these things, I feel it did tie in a little bit more.
To a degree, yeah, but just a little bit more. Like, and here's okay, let me this way. I'm not saying it can't further tie in. Like, here's the thing. When Korra did it, you were at the end of the show. We're still, what is this, halfway now of what's been released?
I think this is like the end of season 1. I think there's still like 2 more seasons. So
I'm glad we can see
and I'm not
saying, so I'm saying this can be completely explored furthermore. Like, I mean, you could get really in-depth in a way that Korra just did not. So I'm not saying this is the end of the world. I'm just saying right now, I'd say this does it slightly better, but I'm at about the same point of where I'm just like, oh, that's cool.
Like, I think it's one of those things too.
But then again, like watching anime so much,
I
this
think,
sort of thing just doesn't. It's like I'm used to kind of seeing this even in animated form.
Well, I think because it's a twist, and it's a legitimately good twist. Like, I think it's something, even if you put it together, it's still a nice little twist on it. And the fact that only one other American cartoon has done it where one of the main characters is gay.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I feel like this is the beginning of a story. And therefore, it's just, I just don't have an emotional connection. Like with Pearl and Rose, I felt like they had been telling kind of that part of it for a while now that I'm like, oh, it makes more sense. I was way more invested. Right now, it's cool. And I'm like, this is cool. But I feel like this is the beginning of a story. Like, somehow we'll get, hopefully, more with their backstory.
Yeah, I have to, I mean, but again, seeing those two...
And that is the difference between this and Korra, because with Korra, that was the end of the story. No more to go from there unless they do graphic novels or something. Here, at least, I'm like, okay, this is a great start, but
and
the way it was built up, I just imagine that, like... Honestly, I would have thought the one with Rose and Pearl was what they were talking about initially.
I mean, here's the thing.
I mean, thought we was initially, and then you said, no, this isn't what they're talking about. I'm like, really?
As far as I know, the couple of people I've talked to, I said everyone came to my Facebook saying this episode happened. Is this that episode? And the people I talked to said yes, it was. So as far as I know, this is the one. And seeing how everybody exploded with Korra and the ending of that would be my assumption too, that this would be that episode. But again, what I really like about it is that with those two, the Ruby and Sapphire, again, we've only known for a couple seconds, but yeah, like you said, man, don't you want to see more of that backstory in the two of them and how they complete it? Like, I really want to see more of that couple.
It's not a bad plot point. It's just, I just thought there was going to be more to... Like, here's the thing. The fight and the song the song was fun.
I kind of wanted a bigger battle.
Not even just I want a bigger battle. It's just like you could have cut out 2 minutes of that battle and give us some more character development with Ruby and Sapphire. I felt like they just kind of like, and they're fused together, and then it's like there's this big fight. But I'm like, I didn't really get to know Ruby and Sapphire much.
I felt like I got to. Again, it's weird. In those few seconds, I really felt like I kind of got to know them. You know, like just what they're like and why they're together and stuff.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I got to know them enough.
But I will say, if you're gonna do a fight, not that the animation was bad or didn't look cool and stuff like that, but for how much they were building this up, they come down, they're wiped out like immediately, and then the other side's kind of wiped out immediately, like a little too quick. And it's like, haha, well, I'm back together. Well, why didn't that work before? Oh, because you separated them. Okay, whatever, why don't you have that thing again, whatever. And it just felt like for all this build-up,
the fight to me was
it was
just a
over
fight.
Too quick. Yeah, it was just a fight. Like, it wasn't a battle.
And,
I want the
my thing
battle.
is, if it's just like, well, if you're gonna have just a fight versus more character development on what is a plot point that apparently everybody flipped the fuck out over, I would have gone with more character development with that and sacrificed a minute or two off that fight.
Yeah,
But-
so, again, as far as I know, this is like the episode. And again, I'm with you. It's neat. I want to see it explored more.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think the reason it got so much attention is because A, it is a twist, and B, it's really the only other time outside of Korra we've seen like a lesbian couple. So I
Well, at
think
least in
that's like
cartoons.
yeah, in American cartoons, especially ones intended for kids. So I think that's kind of like the big thing around it. But I'm kind of with you. I'm like, you know, cool. Again, we're making progress. It was interesting. It was a good twist.
No, I mean,
But I'm saying to myself,
it's a great plot point. It is not the greatest scene ever in a cartoon. That let me put it this way.
No.
Let me put it to you this way. It could be if you develop this further and really make it worth it. As it stands right now, it's a great start to a story, but I'm just like, it's just a start to it.
Yeah, see,
I thought there
that's-
was going to be the way they talked about it, I thought this would have been a whole episode. Like, knowing now in retrospect what I know, like, the way everybody talked about it, I thought this would have been a whole backstory in the same, like, that fucking scene from V for Vendetta when she's reading that past tale about the two lesbian lovers. I was gonna be something like that. Like, maybe not as dark, but, like, something that really took, like, a good 10, 15 minutes and explored this. And as it stands, I'm like, no, that was just a cool plot point. And yeah, I got to meet them, and now that I've met them, I want to see more. But
No, it to me it is a lot like Korra. Everyone was talking about this ending. This, oh my god, you have to see it. And it's like cool, neat. I'm kind of with you though. I would want
I
more
will say
character
the
out of it.
difference
But
with-
that's not the show's fault. That's just the show had this twist and it sort of took a step and great. And like you said, it's a fine episode. There's nothing really wrong with it. I would have liked either a bigger battle or more development on the
I
two
guess
of them.
it just
but
wasn't as shocking
yeah,
to me because I felt like they've been building up to this kind of thing.
Yeah, especially
Like the
watching
whole
it now
show
with Pearl and Rose. I'm
and
kind
all
of
the
like, yes,
and you had it best, like
big,
talking about all the identity issues and this and that. And I love, by the way, I love the interesting things the villain was saying about just like, I know what you are. It's like fusions are weak and this and that. I was like, metaphor, like.
But here's the thing too that
Being a
I'm
total
really
bitch
wondering
about
now. We have not seen any men now. I mean, not one.
I'm assuming this is like a race of Amazons.
You know, that's what I'm assuming too. I don't think there's any men. in
If
this.
there are, we haven't seen them.
And even the gems, I mean, if I'm right, I mean, like, Steven, from what I understand, was not conceived from, like, sex, because the gems, whatever, maybe they can, maybe they can't, but that's not how they reproduce. So I think it's something where it's, like, the idea of the two of them being in love, you know, and kissing and all that stuff is not a big deal. I think the fusion is probably, like, a bigger deal. Like you said, it's like, oh, it's what weak gems do to become more strong. You know, it's like cheating in a sense. It's cheating to win a battle or something. And hearing more and more about this race, you can kind of see that. Like, it is a, you know, it's Cobra Kai. Mercy is for the weak. Strength.
Well, it
you know, all
adds to that
stuff.
kind of metaphor aspect of they're doing something that their society does not agree with or whatever, or at least the jerky aspects of their society. So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really good. I just
It's a good twist. It's a good surprise, and I really do want to see
This is
more
what
of it.
internet hype does, though. Like,
Yeah, I know.
this is why I try to avoid the hype. And when people kept trying to tell me things about the show, I'm like, please don't.
So
So.
it's one of those things where it's like, because I mean, now that it's like we know, I feel like I can talk with certain people about it, because it seems like people really want to talk about it, and but you can't give it away because it's a twist and everything. And at the same time, I'm kind of like, maybe because I have to get further, but I'm like, I don't know if there's a ton to talk about. Talking about a vlog that's probably our longest.
Well,
in a
there's
while,
not yet.
but-
That's my point.
Yeah,
Like, it's
I kind
just,
of I want to see more.
they're a
with them. I
fusion
wanna
of
see
two
more
girls.
develop.
I'm like, okay, but we don't know anything else apart from that. That's why it just.
Like I said,
I don't know.
I think it's done.
Like-
It's more interesting than Koronami or Korosami. Korosami. It's more interesting than
I will
that.
say this though, I thought Korosami was a bigger shock. But that's
See-
just because A, it seemed to come out of nowhere, and B, I didn't think Nick had the balls to run it.
Okay, I guess
So,
bigger shock, but doesn't tie into a story as much. That's why I like this.
No, it doesn't.
better,
It doesn't tie into
but
the story as much.
but no, that's why I like.
But
this
I
a lot
also
more.
respect
You
it
can do more
because
with it.
I just don't think Nick would have let them get away with anything, and they were able to slip that in at the last second. And
Mm-hmm.
the part of me, the Addams Family part of me that just likes pissing people off, is just like. But I mean, this one it was less.
It's
of a
not something they
shock.
did in Adam's Family. They just went.
It's more of a W thing. Tacos rule. This one it wasn't as much of a shock because as I said, it just felt like were building up. They were
Pearl
dropping
Rose,
hints
yeah.
here and there. It seemed like this show was something where that could happen.
Yeah,
Whereas in Korra, it didn't
Especially
seem,
on Nickelodeon,
Yeah,
you know,
it just did not seem something that Nick would ever greenlight, which is why I liked it in Korra, even though I acknowledge it didn't connect as much to the story. But it was just such a fuck you to them. I loved it.
You gotta
Loved
wonder.
it.
You gotta wonder if the creator, when that episode of Korra came out, because we know she had to have this plan that they were fusion and
He.
stuff like that. No, I thought the creator was a she.
Korra?
No, not Korra.
You said Korra.
I'm sorry, Steven Universe.
I should say with them they.
Yeah, that's a they. They're a fusion as well. But you gotta wonder if the creator of Steven Universe was like, when Korra came out, she was like, friggin'. Like, she already had like this idea. It's like, oh, they got to it first, damn it. Well, we do it so much better, but whatever.
But see, it doesn't matter. Okay, you know what killed it for me? All the hype.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's true.
it would have been just glorious to see without knowing it, and I would have been like, oh, that's cool. And I could watch it wondering where they're going to go with it without having to sit here and talk about the implications of it as it relates to Korra. Like, it.
Well, and I will say this too, watching this show, knowing that information going in, like, remember the episode where Steven and Connie fuse, and what does Garnet think? She's just there going like this. Now we kind of know
Yeah.
that's someone who is a fusion, has been, together doing that for a long time.
Good point.
So it once, or there's even a time where it's like, it's difficult to do, and Garnet says, not difficult for me. So and on top of that, we know that when Garnet and Amethyst fuse, that's actually 4 people now.
No, and what I like
So-
about this episode is we're finally at a point where we've gotten Pearl, we've gotten stuff with Amethyst, now we've got Garnet. We're at a point where we can really expand and delve into these characters' backstories now. We've gotten
Yeah.
all the pieces we need to do it.
Yeah, to now really dive
I-
in and find
I felt
out
like it's
more.
been very Pearl heavy, and Amethyst got a couple episodes too, but it's like now we can go into Garnet, who was always the silent one, the strong silent
Yeah.
type.
Um,
So, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. So it's not a disappointing episode at all. It's a really good episode. It's just everybody I think was kind of wrecking it for me though, like all this build up and hype that it, I probably would have just rather seen it without knowing going in, but
yeah. Again, if it is, everyone I've talked to says this is the episode. Maybe
it
where
fucking better be after you just put me through this.
No, okay. Everyone I've talked to has said that. So if there is like another one that's an even bigger shock, like I've had like 5 or 6 people confirm like this is the one that everyone was probably talking to me about on Facebook because everybody was talking about it after it happened.
Yeah,
So-
no, it was good. I mean, as I said, I stand by what I said.
I would have liked a bigger
Right
battle.
now, in this moment, having not seen the rest of the show, I'm more invested in Pearl and Rose than I am necessarily in these two, just because I don't know much about them yet. But I'm hoping that they're gonna totally expand about.
You know, it's
so.
funny. I actually
And I'm invested enough that I'm just like, oh, like I care about them and stuff. But I'm like, that for me was the more kind of interesting story so far. Like they may give us more backstory with Garnet, and I'm hoping, because that would be cool. I'm really legitimately interested.
That's funny, because I'm actually more interested in Pearl and Rose more for the exact opposite reason. I really felt seeing those two. Again, like, I just kind of got it. I got their personalities, I got what they were like, and why they fell in love and stuff like that. Where with Rose and Pearl, it's like, God, yeah, I still feel like there's more. And I would love to know both, but I want to know more about Pearl and Rose.
It's because it's the one that didn't work. We know these two are happy.
Yeah, maybe that's
why.
it.
But that's why I think I was more invested in it. It's because these two, maybe it's because these two seem happy and this and that. It's like, but Pearl and Rose is like, ooh, that was drama. Like, these two seem all right and happy. And hey, that's great. More power to them. So,
well, especially at their opposites too. I like that a lot.
Oh my god, that reminds me. The one last thing is best Garnet line ever. Because when Lapis is just like, all right, I'll fuse with you, and they got me for a few seconds. I was like, lame. I thought maybe she really was gonna turn there for a second, and because I was like, great, now we're gonna see a bunch of episodes with, you know, this fusion and her being quasi-evil until she probably turns again and becomes good.
That was my thought when I saw it, too. I was just like, oh.
But when she drags her back into the ocean, it's just like, no! We'll live on this planet forever! And then there's just like this silence, and Garnet's just like, yikes. That literally was what I was going to say. I was like, right like before she said yikes, I just went, whoa.
Well, that's tough too, because Lapis has spent so much of her life as a prisoner, and then suddenly it's like, now I'm gonna sacrifice my life to be even more of a prisoner.
Oh, they'll do something.
Oh, I'm sure they will, but I like that. I think that shows even more the sacrifice and the dedication. So kind of what we thought it would be, where it's like
honestly, I think it shows she's a glutton for punishment. At this point, maybe this is all she knows.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's like Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, now I'm starting to like it.
It's like, I'm used to it. You know, it'll hurt you, torture you, save the world. Yeah, okay.
It's you know what it is? I think she's like, it's going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me, so this will be fun.
So, yeah, that's about it.
No, good episode. I got no problem with bringing lesbians into cartoon shows, so.
Now, gay men, they stay out, okay? That's the abomination. That's a fusion that cannot happen at all. Sorry, is my Trump showing?
Wow.
Is Trump anti? He's anti-everything. We'll just assume he is. But actually, that is. I think,
hair like that, you know, he's got to have some crazy hairdresser.
Yeah, you know he
frumping up his toupee wig thing, whatever it is.
I was gonna say, with the exception of Arthur, I know they had like. Was it like a gay dad or something like that? I'm not sure, but...
or maybe not. Maybe a gay hairdresser would be like, oh my god, that hair, what is going on?
No, that was actually my thought. I was just like, no, don't insult gay hairdressers.
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
You know what? I take that back. I don't want to insult the gay
community. They do much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, are there any gay male characters in kid shows outside of Arthur? The more I think about it, I don't know if there are. Or even, like, side characters. It's mostly
Arthur?
women. The Anteater or whatever. That was like a big thing. Like either like, or no, actually maybe that was women too. I don't know. I didn't watch the show. I just remember that was like a big thing. That was like back in.
You mean the PBS show?
Yeah. Yeah, there's like either a parent or somebody or a group or something.
I don't think that show premiered till I was like 13.
I want to say it was Arthur.
It, so.
You know what? I think it was the spin-off with the bunny or I don't know. I had to look it up and I forget what it is. I'm totally abusing this PBS show that I'm sure has a huge following.
Watch some assholes will try to boycott that show. They'll be like,
I'm sure they already have, yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure. That is true. It's like whenever they do a gay character, it's almost always
you know what? I love it when they're like, and the Korosami thing, and they're like, some people are just like, we're gonna boycott. Well, with Korosami, that was the beauty of that. That was another reason why I thought it was such a fuck you. By the time it had come out,
you're done. It's over. Yeah.
Love that. Love it. This didn't give anybody any choice. But I always love when people are like, we're gonna boycott this cartoon because I'm like, you're a bunch of grown ass adults boycotting cartoons. Really? Like, this is your life. Like,
it's almost as pathetic as doing vlogs on a cartoon.
Well, I look at it this way. We get paid to watch cartoons, or we boycott cartoons for free. who's the real idiot here?
Yeah, I like ours a little better.
Yeah.
So, that's about it.
Good episode.
Yeah, good episode. I'm with you. I didn't
want
get
more.
quite into
I want more.
the hype, but yeah, I do want to know more about them. But
I think that's what, and I will say, I would. Did I get into the hype as much? No. But the best thing I can say about this show is it leaves me wanting more.
yeah,
So better
definitely.
to want more and hopefully get more rather than have everything just dumped on you all at once. And you're like, oh, I'm good. I can go home now.
yeah. I like we're only at the end of season 1, so it's like there's so many more seasons, so much more we can explore with this.
And if this was just the first season,
Yeah, imagine what I gotta go after that.
it's going to be like a foursome.
We'll see you at the foursome.